All right, so this is the continuation of the Inca, the conclusion of the Inca. So if you haven't watched the first video, make sure you watch that before you watch this video. We are today going to figure out how the Inca were defeated by the Spanish specifically. So as the Inca grew in legend and myth of their culture and other things of stories of them also started to grow. It did not take long for the Spanish to start hunting for the Incan capital. The man who did it successfully was this man, Francisco Pizarro. Like most conquistadors, conquering ones, he said that he was trying to find the Inca to convert them to Christianity. For others, like Cortez, this is somewhat true. But for Pizarro, he really just wanted gold. So let's discuss the story of Pizarro. Pizarro's story is pretty amazing, so this should be fun. It is a story of multiple failures and minor successes, followed by an epic failure. So, in the beginning, Pizarro heads out from Panama to find the Inca. His first voyage is only to Colombia, about 1,500 miles away from the Inca. Things go terribly, and he gets into a fight with a local tribe, where his general gets shot in the eye with an arrow. He returns to Panama and gets a new crew and ship. This time, he makes it to Ecuador, not much farther south than Colombia. They get some gold from traders who tell them about the golden cities further south. He takes his case directly to the king and queen. So in order to get this gold, he takes his case directly to the king and queen. Queen Isabella of Portugal agrees to a third voyage. Pizarro is given a right to whatever he wanted, if he could get enough volunteers. He did not get enough volunteers, so there he is. He's asking if she can, give him some money. And she's greedy, so she wants the gold. He does not get enough people, so he lied, and he only has 13 people actually join the voyage. Anyway, he's on his way to South America because she believed him, and there they go. He ultimately ends up in Cusco, and goes, to meet with Atahualpa. As we will see, Pizarro had no intention of peace. He set a trap to catch Atahualpa quickly.
By what power do you speak?
By this, the word of God.
God. God.
God. hand when Christ is insulted! Let the pagans feel the power of your arm! I absolve you all! Santiago!
So that was a clip from a movie, obviously, but this is most likely what happened, is that they said, hey, we come here in the name of God, and they held up a Bible and said, this is the word of God, we come by from there, and sounds confusing to the Inca, and they were like, well, this doesn't seem like the word of God, doesn't give me power, it doesn't feel like anything. And so he basically like threw it back at them, and they were like, no, and fought. In all the fighting, only one Spaniard was hurt, and that was Pizarro himself, who was accidentally cut by one of his own men. Many Inca were killed, and Atahualpa was taken prisoner. So he's taken prisoner. And at one time, he promised Pizarro that he would fill his throne room with all the gold that he ever wanted, and they would get and whatever they want as long as they basically gets free. So he bribed him, right? Eventually, he did do this. He filled up the whole room with a ransom that was met, and Atahualpa was set free. Just kidding. Pizarro just killed him anyway because Pizarro is a jerk. Before long, Pizarro took over the Inca. He took things a little bit too far, and Pizarro and the general whose eye got shot out. So he's going, he feels good about himself. And the general who got his eye shot out basically fought each other over power, who's going to have all the power, and the general is executed. Then his son, the general's son, comes up.
Father. Prepare to die.
And basically says, hey,
You killed my father. Prepare to die.
that for revenge, and Pizarro's like, oh no, that's not good. And he eventually does, the son does kill Pizarro. And Pizarro on his deathbed drew a cross in his own blood and said, come to me, my faithful sword, companion of all my deeds. This is in reference to Jesus, or was supposed to be. And they live happily ever after, except for the dead people. So this is what I just kind of said. He arrived in 1532. He had guns and horses, giving them a huge advantage. They tricked Atahualpa thinking that they were there for religion, and then gold. If they got enough gold, they would leave. Not what they said, and kills him anyways. Lots of death. And in the end, Atahualpa provided the gold. It didn't matter because Pizarro killed him anyways. And the Inca were enslaved, and though they did fight back for a few years, their empire was gone forever, and they never got back to where they were.
Don't cry for me. I'm already dead.
And that is the end of the Inca and our notes. Here is your assignment. I want you to write an ARE paragraph, which again is 5 sentences, to examine if the Inca were the most advanced civilization of the 3 we've talked about, the Maya, the Aztec, and the Inca. Here's how you set it up. First sentence, I believe that the Inca were or were not the most advanced civilization of the Americas. I believe this because, be specific. Is it because they had roads? Is it because they had a sort of a writing system? Is it because they had lots of gold? Like what? Then give me 3 pieces of evidence in separate sentences. So say, for example, they had roads that gave them trade abilities. They used terrace farming to grow their crops, anything like that. All right? That's what you have to do. That is it. All right? Have a good weekend.